Friends, I wanted to share with you the most expensive thing that I can never ever give you. No matter how much money you can offer me, no matter how much you beg and plead, this is something I couldn't ever grant you. What I'm trying to communicate and convey here is something that can optimize your life in every single avenue. It could be finance, relationships, health, and a myriad of other different things. But before I can really communicate this elusive piece of equipment for you, we must first understand torture. Yeah, torture. It's not a turn of phrase you hear often, but what I'm going to do is share with you the most effective methods of how to torture someone. And I bet that is something that you'd never thought you'd hear in a video. But if you could indulge me in this thought experiment for just a moment, we will come full circle. So we're going to go on this little thought experiment, and I would like you to be patient with me because it's going to be really rewarding for you in the end of what I mean by this most expensive thing. So the first method of inducing suffering is restricting movement. Now, I don't imagine you thought of someone being tortured in an open field or a park. It's never been really seen in the movies. If you watch something like Saw, it's always the equivalent of a dark and dingy jail cell. But I want you to imagine a very small, constricting, box-like shape where you are unable to run, jump, and generally move around and articulate yourself. That in itself is an extremely unpleasant thought and environment to be in. Claustrophobia starts to set in. The body itself almost becomes a prison through lack of movement. But this is just the beginning. So first, we are essentially unable to move our bodies. Next comes dehydration. Water in all its miraculous simplicities provides the foundation for function in the human body, from the large to the microscopic. It is a fundamental component to living without which we would not survive. And I don't need to lecture you about the importance of water. You already know. But I know what you're thinking now. So we've got no space, we can't move around, we have no water. What gruesome forms of inflicting physical pain do I have in store next for this individual? When am I going to start pulling out the thumb screws or waterboarding someone? And I'm going to disappoint you, because you'll find no instruments for inflicting pain or suffering in the direct or linear sense. What I do have in my box of tricks though is Coca-Cola, Fanta, and a myriad of other drinks at my disposal. Fizzy drinks, sugary drinks, as well as sugary snacks will be available for you at every moment of the day. Although in a confined, your small box shape, I will accommodate your every sugary wish. Chocolate, sweets, crisps, desserts, name it, and it's yours. There is, however, a catch to this seemingly unlimited pleasure of snacks. You may only sleep 5 hours a day. Granted, you can't see when the sun goes down in your small box, but hell, I'll give you a watch so you may know the time. We've painted a very vivid picture of a box-like cell. We're dehydrated, we have no water, we have lots of Coke and Fanta and stuff to keep ourselves quenched to a certain degree, but we're also restricted with our sleep. What's my angle? What is this whole torture thing? And what's this valuable tool you cannot give us? Well, whilst it might not seem like the most conventional form of torture, perhaps you know where I'm heading with this thought experiment. Maybe even some of you now are starting to draw parallels to your working day and your cramped office cubicle with an array of sugary drinks and snacks available for you. No water. And you're continuing to go through this day without adequate sleep. The modern individual can draw comparisons between their routine life and this torturous scenario I have laid out in front of you. This is a quick route towards weight gain, diabetes, depression, anxiety, mental illnesses, and a myriad of other health complications. I said I wouldn't be inducing suffering and pain in the direct sense. But trust me, years of living this way will achieve it. That undesirable result. You will get there by living in this fashion. So I'm going to come full circle to my initial sentiment. I'm a coach. I have had many clients and I have an abundance of knowledge in exercise science, and I have a variety of different sources on nutrition, psychology, philosophy, and the rest. You would think that behind the sentiment of the delivery in my coaching would change as I grow in competence and experience, but it hasn't. The sentiment is still the same. You need to move, you need to drink water. You don't need sugar, and you need to sleep 8 hours a day minimum. Granted, there exists variations between individuals. No two people are the same, but get this, the people that always change their life for the better have something that others cannot buy or purchase. So, I mean, you can purchase diet plans and training programs and book in however many consultations with me as you like, but again, I do not possess the means to bestow this tool upon you. It is so elusive, so potent. It allows you to master the art of showing up even when you don't feel like it. Some call it discipline, others call it dedication. I have come to know it as the will to act. Like I said, you can't buy this from me. Not that it isn't something I wish to give you. But even now thinking about it, perhaps that's why it's so invaluable. Because it cannot be given, it can only be found. Find the will to act, master the art of showing up. Watch as your desires fulfill themselves as reality is forced to conform to your will. And if you subscribe to that, subscribe to me, and I'll see you again.